Good morning to all. This is Jagan, Department of Biology. Today I want to discuss one of the most important topic from second year syllabus, that is sexual reproduction in flowering plants. So generally in the sexual reproduction in flowering plants, there are different subtopics are there. The first subtopic is microsporogenesis and male gametophyte development. This is the first subtopic in sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Then the second subtopic in sexual reproduction in flowering plants is megasporogenesis and female gametophyte development. And come to the next third subtopic in sexual reproduction in flowering plants is pollination. And the fourth subtopic in sexual reproduction in flowering plants is pollen pistil interaction. The fifth subtopic in this topic is fertilization. And the sixth subtopic is post fertilization changes. So these are the total 6 subtopics comes under sexual reproduction in flowering plants. So out of all these 6 subtopics, the microsporogenesis and megasporogenesis, these 2 subtopics comes under pre-fertilization events. In this, these 2 are comes under gametogenesis. And this is gamete transfer. And this is fertilization and this is post fertilization. Out of all these 6 subtopics in sexual reproduction in flowering plants, it is broadly classified into 3 groups. One is pre-fertilization events, and second one is fertilization events, the third one is post-fertilization events. Already in the first classes, already we discussed the male gametophyte development and male gamete formation, female gametophyte development and female gamete formation, already it's over. Now today I want to discuss one of the most important pre-fertilization event for gamete transfer is pollination. Heading is pollination. So what is pollination? What is the intensity of pollination? What is the need of pollination? What is the necessity of pollination in flowering plants are nothing but angiosperms. So generally pollination means transfer of pollen grains from anther to surface of stigma is called as pollination. Generally, According to first chapter in second year, reproduction in organism. The reproduction in every organism is broadly classified into three groups: pre-fertilization events, fertilization events, post-fertilization events. There are two pre-fertilization events. One is gametogenesis, another one is gamete transfer. In the first two subtopics in sexual reproduction in flowering plants, already male gametes are formed in male gametophyte, female gametes are formed in female gametophytes. So the male and female gametes, they have brought together for fertilization. So for this achievement, one of the most important mechanism is pollination. To achieve the fertilization between male and female gametes, the best mechanism, the best objective is pollination. Pollination means the transfer of pollen grains from anther to surface of stigma is called as pollination. According to the source of these pollen grains, the pollination is classified into two types based on the source of pollen grains. So this is one of the most important characteristic feature for a classification of pollination. Based on the source of pollen grains, the pollination is classified into two types. The first type is self-pollination. The second type is cross-pollination. What is self-pollination and what is cross-pollination? We need to discuss the definitions. Self-pollination is also called as autogamy. Cross-pollination is also called as allogamy. Is also called as xenogamy. What is self-pollination or autogamy? What is cross-pollination or allogamy is also called as xenogamy. Generally, these self-pollination is of two types. Autogamy and diatonogamy. Autogamy and diatonogamy. Autogamy means, for example, according to diagrammatic presentation, for example, this is one angiospermic plant or nothing but flowering plants. In these flowering plants, for example, this is the flower. In the flower, the outermost whorl is calyx, is also called as sepals. The second whorl is corolla, is also called as petals. The calyx and corolla not participated in fertilization, then it is called as non-essential whorls. Then the third whorl of bisexual flower is androecium. Androecium is a male sex organ. It is one of the essential whorl. The innermost whorl of bisexual flower is female sex organ, or it is also called as gynoecium. So androecium and gynoecium are sex organs. They are participated in fertilization or sexual reproduction. So that's where third and fourth whorl, androecium and gynoecium are essential whorls, and calyx and corolla are non-essential whorls. Now the pollen grains are developed in anther. At mature condition of anther, when anther wall is ruptured, these pollen grains are releases. The transfer of these pollen grains from anther to surface of stigma, this phenomenon is called as pollination. Already you know very well. Pollination is one of the best mechanism to achieve pollination or to achieve fertilization. So, the transfer of this pollen grain from anther to surface of stigma within the same flower or single flower is called as autogamy, is also nothing but self-pollination. If in case in a flowering plant or in angiosperms, this is one more flower. In one more flower, this is calyx, this is corolla, this is androecium, and the innermost whorl is gynoecium. As usual, the pollen grains are developed in the anther of stamens. At mature condition of anther, these pollen grains are releases. If the transfer of these pollen grains from anther to surface of stigma in between two different flowers of same plant is called as geitonogamy. So, geitonogamy functionally similar to cross pollination, but genetically similar to self-pollination. Which of the following pollination is functionally similar to cross pollination and genetically similar to self-pollination is geitonogamy. Geitonogamy means the transfer of pollen grains from anther to surface of stigma in between two different flowers of same plant is called as geitonogamy. This geitonogamy functionally similar to cross pollination but genetically similar to self pollination. And come back to next one, cross pollination. For explaining the cross pollination is also called as allogamy, is also called as geitonogamy. So, xenogamy. Xenogamy is also called as true cross pollination. For example, this is one more angiospermic plant. This is one flower. In a bisexual flower, outermost whorl is calyx and the second whorl is corolla and the third whorl is androecium. The innermost whorl is gynoecium. So, this is one genetically different parent or plant. This is one genetically different parent or plant. At mature condition, when pollen grains are releases, these pollen grains, if it is transfer from anther to surface of stigma in between two different plants of two different flowers. If the pollination can take place in between two different flowers of two different plants is called as cross pollination. Cross pollination is also called as allogamy, is also called as xenogamy, it is also called as a true cross pollination. Okay na?